Hello and welcome to Walk the Pod, your daily walking show where I take my podcast for a walk because I don't have a dog. You're very welcome along. Can you believe we've reached Series 60 of the daily walking podcast that tempts you away from your desk at lunchtime, dear friends? Well, we have Series 60. Can you believe it? And this series, thanks to the members of the Walk the Pod Lunchtime Walk Club who voted for a new topic, the broad and deep topic of love, a profound word which can be very difficult for us to define. We are going to be exploring and to find out a bit more about it this series. Now, I've got a book that we're going to start with, and that is Thich Nhat Hanh's True Love, a book all about deep looking and how love is all about understanding. But I want to know what it means to you much more than I want to bring you what it means to me. So I will be asking for your voice notes about things that you love and how they make you feel. But first, a voice note from Postman Nige, formerly Cross-Border Selector Nige, or perhaps I should say also Cross-Border Selector Nige, who started a new job as a postie in the last couple of months. And I'm delighted that we're going to be having a few updates from him about how that's going along the way. Welcome to Walk the Pod.
Hello Rach, this is Cross-Border Selector Nige, aka Postman Pat Nige, giving you a walking report at the end of my first week of being a postie down here in Sussex in the small town of Folgate. It's Saturday, my last day of the first week, so thought we'd offer you a little bit to say what I could see directly in front of me. So basically red mail bags and a bundle of post, lots of parcels, quite a lot of junk mail leaflets that we're obliged to deliver, and lots and lots of acorns on the floor because it's very autumnal, obviously. Lovely shades of trees turning, particularly mainly the oak, obviously. And then a busy road. I'm just approaching the main road that is my route for today. Okay, so just thought I'd offer you that, and I guess you wouldn't want a daily walking report from me. Who knows? Maybe I'll start my own Walk the Post.
Absolutely delighted that we're going to have Walk the Post, another sort of sibling podcast to Walk the Pod, to be added to the wonderful Walk the Mic, which is recorded by Charles in New Zealand, all the way on the other side of the world. So look out for Walk the Post. Nige, I'm holding you to that now. You need to start a new podcast, please, so that we can listen to all 3 episodes as we're on our daily walks together. How wonderful to have a virtual walking club to walk with and know that other people are walking every day as we are. Research has come out in the UK recently to say that it is tremendously helpful to go for a walk of 10-15 minutes in one stretch. It's very, very good for us indeed. And we knew this already, but it's really nice when the scientists come out and reiterate with research the things that we feel in our hearts anyway. I've certainly found since I started daily walking that I feel just transformatively, this is not a good sentence, I feel very daunted about finishing the sentence now I've started it like that, transformatively more happier. I feel transformed by my daily walks. I feel a bit anxious and stressed in the mornings. I go for a walk at lunchtime, and the afternoon is just significantly easier thanks to my daily walks, so I highly recommend them to you. And if you're lucky enough or committed enough to be a postman like Nige, you get to do this every day. So very, very jealous actually of Nige's new occupation. Am I going to chuck it all in and become a postie? No. But do I want to? Yes, absolutely. And so I'm going to be following Nige's new career with very, very profound interest. Now, to our theme for the month, we're going to be looking at love. I would like you to leave me a voice note about something you love or someone you love and how it makes you feel. please. It's a very vulnerable thing to ask you to do, and as we did last series with the series about vulnerability, it takes a lot to put that to voice note, to record 90 seconds of your beautiful voice. So I encourage you to embrace the vulnerability and do it anyway. Tell me about something or someone you love and how it makes you feel, because it will help us to explore this topic. If you would, please. You need to go to walkthepod.com, press the button mark, leave a voice note for Walk the Pod, and SpeakPipe will give you 90 seconds to do so. And you just tap a button and start speaking. It's that simple. So send me a voice note, please. 90 seconds of your beautiful voice on love. And I will put the voice notes in the very next podcast. And we have 10 fresh new episodes coming your way. Monday to Friday this week, Monday to Friday next week. And if you're in the Walk the Pod Lunchtime Walk Club, you'll also get photographs from behind the scenes on the podcast. You can get postcards delivered to the address where you live anywhere in the world, and all kinds of other goodies. So if you're thinking, this Walk the Pod Lunchtime Walk Club sounds great, I get to vote in the theme polls, I get physical postcards delivered to my house, I get to see photographs from behind the scenes on the podcast, you're not wrong. And that doesn't even mention the Walk the Pod message board, which is hosted on Discord and allows you to chat with the virtual walking club of fellow walkers all around the world every day. So whether the podcast is on air or not. So if you're interested in that, you can also click a link to join the Walk Club via walkthepod.com as well. What can I see directly in front of me? Well, it's a beautiful day in the park. Why do I say that? Well, it's actually quite aggressively windy. It's not the most beautiful day in the most classic sense of the word, but I feel privileged and lucky to be here. I'm in the park just outside work. I feel very lucky to have a park just outside my workplace, and if you work somewhere that is very urban, you will struggle to get out into nature for 10 minutes. So anything you can do just to pound the pavements just a little bit and try and get near to nature of some description will make you feel better. I guarantee it. Having done it for 5 years now, I find it transformative for my mental health. And if you are thinking about it but listening to this in your home or at your desk at work, you know, you're on the path, and that's the most important thing. I'm walking amongst the most beautiful collage of leaves on the floor. The silver birches and sycamores and plane trees in the park have dumped their leaves all over the grass. So the leaves are just a beautiful kaleidoscope of oranges and reds and browns and greens and yellows. It is stunning. There's a couple of dogs in the park frolicking. There's somebody throwing a ball for them who has a squeaky toy that she's squeaking for them. Don't know whether you can hear that in the background. And the sun is actually shining through a gap in the clouds right into the park. So we're very lucky. Very, very lucky indeed this lunchtime. There's one or two students sitting on a bench in the Tooting Gardens play space. There's a couple of tots being posted down the tube slide, which reminds me that we had the most hilarious evening at home trying to watch an episode of Luther, being interrupted approximately every 90 seconds by very small people with buckets trick-or-treating on Samhain, the 31st of October, just a couple of days ago. And those tiny, tiny tots dressed as horrendous. I mean, you know, you open the door and there's a 3-year-old in front of you dressed as Shaun of the Dead with a cricket bat, or you the doorbell goes and you open the door to find a 2-year-old dressed as Freddy Krueger on the doorstep, or you just think, like, where are these kids getting these ideas from? I also opened the door to find some very, very large gentlemen who I think might have been to the pub and were almost sort of in two modes at once. They were finding it hilarious that they decided to do some casual trick-or-treating on the way between the pub and home. They were dressed up, and they were also sort of full of shame that they had interrupted my programme because I was clearly expecting tiny tots and came face to face with them, because significantly bigger than me, on the doorstep, and they eventually blessed my house. God bless you, they said. And that was their way of saying, I'm really sorry to have wasted your time. And wasted my time they had. I did not put a pumpkin outside in order to attract large men from the pub. I was specifically trying to get little tiny tots dressed as Spider-Man to come to my door with very small buckets. That was the point I was trying to make. Mostly it worked. But these two gentlemen, they knew they were too big to be trick-or-treating. Anyway, such is the hilarity of Halloween in London. I hope you enjoyed it. If you celebrate, or maybe you don't, either way, it's taken over, and it means that we don't really celebrate Samhain in the UK. We celebrate Halloween instead. And if you're thinking to yourself, why does she keep saying Samhain? What is Samhain? It's a sort of pagan fire festival, which is also on the 31st of October, and very much the two are bound up together. But if you celebrate Samhain and the other 7 pagan festivals in the year, then you have a fire festival to celebrate every 7 or 8 weeks, which is, I found wonderful, and something that I am really, really enjoying, sort of inking into my calendar as the years roll round. I find that I eat different things on different pagan festivals. Helps me to work out what to get from the shops, what meals to make, and what I'm going to feel like at a particular time of year. And it also helps to mark the seasons and not lose track of what's going on in nature, as I work in the same sort of office that most people do, which is rather clinical, and where the seasons don't really have a chance to make much of an impact. There's a tree in front of me here with enormous rose hips or similar. The wind is still blowing mightily, and so it's actually quite challenging weather today, but I feel very lucky to be in the park nevertheless. I'm very lucky to be able to speak to you. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for having Walk the Pod as one of your podcasts. I really, really appreciate it. You can email walkthepod@gmail.com if you want to say hello. You can send me a message on SpeakPipe via walkthepod.com. Do join the Walk the Pod Lunchtime Walk Club and create yourself a virtual walking club if you're walking on your own. And we've got another 9 episodes of this series to come. Every weekday this week, every weekday next week. I can't wait to see where we get to with this fascinating topic of love for Series 60. Take care of your beautiful mind, yourselves and each other, and I'll be back tomorrow.